Welcome to Complexity Made Simple. My name is Paul Allen, and the story of today's video newsletter, well, we're going to be talking about the role of physics in your problem solving. Once you understand physics, you can solve the problem, or at least you know what the problem is. So in your processes, what are the physics of your problems in manufacturing? Well, you've only got two problems. Now, I've drawn these before. So the two problems you've got a process that's producing too much variability. And therefore, you are guaranteed to get results in the tails. What have you got to do to solve this problem? You've got to squeeze that distribution in. But of course, the other one is you're okay for variability, but the issue you've got is one of aim. So this is aim, this is variability. Problem one, problem two. By the way, most of your problems are like this because this is easy to fix. Some technician's going to go and put this thing on target. There is no variability dial on the front of the machine telling the technician to do something. So these are difficult to fix, these are easy to fix. So what you tend to find, 90% of your problems are up the top. And by the way, these will take some work, 3 months. Okay, so that's what I keep drawing, that's what I keep saying to you, physics. Understand the physics of your problem. Too much variability, or am I off aim? They're the only two problems you've got. Okay then, now, it seems very straightforward. But of course, in real life, it isn't quite as easy as just drawing things on a board. So I've had an email from somebody asking me to help them actually to design an experiment. And I gave them a little bit of advice. They've just written back to me and they've sent me some capability pictures that look like this. And I just thought it was worth sharing with you to show you what real life looks like. So here are the two capability measures. Now all I'm going to tell you about the product, because all I know about the product, is that what they are doing is they are making a pipe. They have an inner diameter with a dimension. Not exactly sure what it is, but it's got a dimension and of course it's got a tolerance. And they have, of course, an outer. They have an outer diameter which has also got a dimension and a tolerance. And they're trying to get both of those to land on target with minimum variability, make 0 defects. So they've got two things to deal with. It's not one, you know, I'm just drawing one thing here and this is much easier. So they've got two things to deal with. And the person wanted help with his DOE. And I said to him, well, before you do the DOE, why don't you do a capability study? Give me these pictures here. So the CPK study. Now, why do I want the CPK study? I see people that run down CPK studies and say that they don't do anything and they're silly and all this kind of stuff. They define the physics for you. They define your problem. Do I use all the numbers, the predicted defect rates? No, not necessarily. But you have to know whether you got too much variability or you're off target. So we can see the two CPKs here. Now what we've got is, it is the outer dimension which is off, it is off center, but you can also see the CP is below 1, which of course means that even if we center this thing, we have a problem. We're still going to have too much variability. When we look at the inner diameter is slightly off target, it's just a little bit low, but because it's got less variability, that poor aim is not causing them any problems. And of course the issue is, can we move the outer diameter onto target without bumping the inner diameter off target? That's question number one. But of course question number two is, you're going to have to reduce the variability even if you can do that. So of course what we've got the outer diameter sort of sitting like that, the inner diameter sort of sitting like that. And even if I position this on target, I still don't get it defect free because I've got too much variability. But what this is telling this engineer, here's the nature of your problem. Here's the physics that you've got to deal with. The first question is, can I aim the inner and the outer independently of one another? If I can't do that with machine settings, tooling is going to have to be changed, and all the variables in his DOE are machine settings. So the first question is, can I aim these two diameters independently of one another? Obviously, if I can do that, I will lose all of this defect rate over here really quickly. So by all means, do the DOE up front, because it's aim, and aim is quicker to fix. That's why you don't get many of these. But it's only quicker to fix, of course, if these two move independently. If these move together like this, then of course as we bring the top one in, the bottom one goes out. Maybe there's a good compromise, maybe there isn't. So they're going to run the DOE to see if they can independently move it. But ultimately, they're going to have to reduce the variability of the outer diameter, which they currently have. That's the physics of their problem. It's aim and it's variability. We know how much we have to do with each. We know what the compromises are with aiming these two. Now we know what we're trying to do with the physics. Now we can get on and think about how to do that. Design an experiment to try and do that. Think about the variables to try and reduce this. Once you know the physics, you can select the tool and the action forward. That's what DEFINE stands for in define, measure, analyze, improve and control. Define the physics of your problem, because once you understand the physics, you can select the right tools to fix it. You can fix the problem, be defect free, land it here nice and tight, be defect free of course, and make more money.